I do want to address the elephant in the room, Giovanni. Uh,
You're not
first,
that.
Am
He
I?
looks great to me. You don't look like an elephant.
cinematographer. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
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 So,
Wow.
talk to me about the journey, and JT, I want to hear about how you brought him on board to work on this film.
Well, so I've been shooting uh or being a cinematographer professionally for about 15 years now, and it was just something that I was doing in the background, in and around projects that I was involved in for acting. And JT and I had met 6 years ago through a mutual friend. And we stayed in contact. We'd send each other projects, and then he had sent me this project 2 years ago. And within 15 minutes, I called him and I was begging to be a part of it. And then conversations about shooting it and producing it sort of evolved from there.
It was interesting. But yeah, we met through this guy, Steve Bellamy, who was a good friend of ours, president of Kodak at the time. And something I always forget about is that, I wanted Giovanni to shoot it because I'd seen what he could do, and I saw how great he was, and we shared a love for film. But he also, when we first talked, he was producing it, and so we were going to find a way to go out and scrape up the money and use his infrastructure and just make this movie, and just go do it. And then I sent the script to my agent, and he said, I think we can do something with this, and he sent it to Roy Lee and Steven Schneider, producers who took it to Miramax, and Miramax offered to give us a low budget, but a more real budget. We weren't just going to be scraping by on our own. And it was interesting because at that point, uh, Giovanni wasn't the sole producer. There were other producers. There was a studio involved, and then they loved the idea. They loved that he was involved with the project, but they didn't know he was a DP. So at that point, they said, "Well, what's this DP thing?" And so then, even though Giovanni's a producer on the movie, sometimes you assume that a producer sort of financed it or did something and then plugged himself into that role as a DP. But that's not what happened at all. In fact, he came on as a producer. He'd helped me develop it, and then we got it set up. And he had to, earn his place on the movie because I wanted him to shoot it. But we had to convince financiers, and they looked at his stuff and went and saw, his place where he was doing things at Stellascope, and he got the job as the DP on this movie because of all the years of work he'd been doing in the space, and it paid off.
Yeah, no, and the reason why I say it was elephant in the room is because it's one of the main things highlighted. I saw the trailer in theaters on Friday, and it says specifically in the trailer it highlights Giovanni Ribisi, a cinematographer.
But I will say, I mean, it all comes back to, obviously, to story, and this was something that was one of those projects that when JT let it out and started sending it to people, I think it was, I mean, that whole process that he talked about, it was, I mean, it really set the whole thing on fire. It was financed, I think, within 4 months or something like that. And
Well, once we went out with the script
yeah,
it was like 3 weeks later. It
yeah,
was
that's right.
crazy.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
it was the craziest,
That's right. Yeah,
fastest
yeah.
process.
And
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 shooting it was just as simple.
yeah, and it
I'm
all
just, anyway.
no, but it really comes down to that, and the characters, and I guess, for lack of a better word, the elegance of the story and the structure of that, how that derives from the characters. It was just something that just became undeniable for anybody who could potentially be involved.
Guys, that's all the time I have. Thank you
Oh,
guys so
wow. Okay,
much.
sorry. Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Thank you
Yeah.
guys so much. I loved it, and cannot wait to see what you both do next.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank you for
so
your
much.
time.
Thanks for your time.
Hey, what's up, Willa? My name's Dempsey. I'm a writer and I guess interviewer for Cinefied. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you today.
After you.
Uh, my first question, and I'm sure you've probably heard this all day. I've been following you since Scream. I loved you in the Fall of the House of Usher, and it seems like you're back in the horror suspense thriller genre with this film. So my question to you is, what keeps on bringing you back, and what particularly drew you to this character?
Yeah, I think that genre as a category of film, of script, gives you a lot of room to play as an actor. There's just a lot of space. And I think that that's always attracted me to films that can be considered genre in one dimension or another. And I think for this movie in particular, why I wanted to do it was because of the script. I mean, the script was amazing. I read it, and I think I probably had a very similar reaction reading it as you did seeing it, because the script on the page is very is the script, is the movie that you see on the screen. JT did an amazing job writing that script, and I think it was just, the script had a clarity and a specificity that I have so rarely seen in scripts that I read, and it was just a really compelling piece of writing, and I just really wanted to do it.
Now, stunts wise, I noticed like halfway through the film, I was like, she's doing a lot of running in this movie. Was there anything that was particularly draining to do? And even for like the first half of the film, where like we see you screaming and just being in agony overall, was there anything that took more out of you than some other aspects?
I mean, it was definitely an exhausting shoot. There's a lot going on every single day. I think even on the days where it was like maybe a lighter day than other days, it was still a pretty heavy lift. I mean, I took a lot of naps. I'm not a napper at all, and I napped every lunch. I would like run to catering and like grab some food and then immediately go take a nap and eat after I'd napped. And I think that there was just a lot, that the lift was large. I mean, it's emotionally draining, it's physically draining. And there's a lot going on that you kind of have to juggle at the same time as an actor in this story. And I think that every day we all left work very tired and also very excited, because I think every day we all felt like we had done something that felt fresh and new, and like we had kind of like gotten the sweet spot of what we were trying to do. And so that certainly is what kept us all going forward when we were shooting it, because it was a big shoot.
And then I only have time for one more quick question. So, can you tell me, if anything, is there something you hope that audiences take away from this?
Oh, interesting. I actually haven't gotten that question yet. I think that this movie leaves a lot up to the audience to decide how they feel about what they think. And I think that while I certainly have my own specific perspective on the movie, I'm really excited and interested to see what people's reactions are. And um, I think that a movie that assumes its audience can make up its own mind is a movie that's doing the right thing.
And I couldn't agree more. Willa, you are fantastic in this. Cannot wait to see what you do next. Have a great day.
Thanks so much.